Hello and welcome to another class. Today we're going to be creating a portfolio website and a single page from the hero section to selected project, the value the creative can provide, and process, testimonials, experience, and a little bit of image and about us. So we can have a text like this for the about us all in one page and a get in touch call to action at the bottom here together with some links. So the first thing we're going to do is to move all this from here to Framer. And we're going to use this using the extension like we've done before. So you select, come here, switch to plugin, then search for Framer. So Framer, select, okay, wait for it to load, copy, go in there, select it, and paste. So at this point, I'm just going to add tablet mode as well as the mobile mode. Then I'm going to add change the background as a whole, change it to so this is complete black. I'm going to change it from white to a complete black. I'm just going to change it paste and now it's black. Then I'll select the hero section, switch to layer panel so that we can see what's going on. Just going to make this screen a bit closer. So yes, I'm going to select the header now. Then with the header selected, you can set the width to relative, set to relative, then adjust it to 100% so that it can stay within the available space. Then always make sure that it is staying in the middle, just align center. Then also we notice that we have just the right padding. So on the right hand side we have 80, on the left hand side we have 80 as well. So now next thing is to grab this section. But you notice this section is not in any particular section, any particular frame. So we're going to just put into an auto layout, bring it down, stretch it to the end, give it a padding of 80 and another padding of 80 here. Then make sure it goes all the way down. Just going to shift this down a bit, then bring this all the way down, and this is going to serve as our hero section. So I'm going to select, drag and copy, come here, same thing, paste, change it to fill or relative. We're just going to use relative and make sure this is at the top, then this comes next. So notice this is set to absolute, so we can change it to, first we change this, turn the old layout on to ensure that everything stays where they are supposed to stay. Then now we've turned it on, supposed to name this to header. So let's change this to header. Then this to hero section. So we'll just name this as hero. Then next is to make sure that the text is staying perfectly in the middle. Just going to bring that to the middle. Then reduce the font size so that it can stretch from left to right. Just going to do that now. Just bring it down just enough so that it can stretch from left to right. Let's bring it out to 100 for now. So yeah, we can now increase it a bit till it occupies the entire space, right? So let's see, probably around 160. Okay, all right. So let's keep it at 160. Then we can, I mean, the height is okay, so we can just adjust it a bit, make sure it's closer than the gap. Bring it a bit closer to this, and now we have something similar. So we're not going to waste time. Go over to the next. Same thing. I'm going to stretch this to the end, and also keep it in the middle, and give it 80 to have that uniform padding. So align center, and so we notice that this is not set to fill. So just set this to fill. Set the items as well to fill. Okay, then make sure this is also set to fill. Now that we've done that and everything stays in the center, we can select everything, same process, one after the other. You can select everything at once, the entire design at once, but if you have a lot of items, a lot of properties and information in your design, the plugin might not be able to handle it. So it's best to take it one after the other so that every single item can be selected correctly. So we're just going to change the width to fit so that we can see all the information available at once. So now we've selected everything and it's now centered. So you can see this section is a bit out of place. So we need to fix that. So select this and change it to fill. Then same thing here. You can select this and change it to fill. But we notice that there's a there's a stack above it. So just take that out so that it can move. So yes. Then one more thing, just remove the stack. Then can also take this out. We don't need this. Remove this and remove this. So now next thing we need to do is to adjust the text itself. So we're going to change this text to fill. Same thing with this to fill. Same thing with this to fill. So I mean it looks good already. So we're going to move over to the next section. Just some minor changes here and there. We'll make other changes as well for the mobile view. But because of the changes we are making in the desktop view, some of those changes will be affected automatically for the mobile view, and we won't need to repeat the same thing multiple times. But for now, let's make sure that everything looks good across board. So let's, yes, then for this, going to change it to, okay. So next is this. For this, is still the same thing. We're going to be using a special component for this particular one, but for now we're just going to have this, take this out, and just going to leave it this way for now. I'm going to delete the rest and duplicate this one. So just going to select everything here and select delete. Then the one we have, which is right here, we can duplicate it again. Just keep it there. We'll come back to it in a bit. Yeah, then now we've done that, we'll go back and pick up the remaining section. So we have this, the experience. So for the experience, we can same thing, go back, select the plugin, copy it, and paste it in. So just select the entire desktop and paste that in. Same thing, change the width to fill, and the information within it, change it to fill, change this one to fill. And then if you notice everything is stretched to the edge. So what we could do to change that is to select the whole of experience, the experience section, and give it a padding of 80. Then same thing here, padding of 80, and you see everything comes together, stays in the middle right there. Then next is the about section. We'll be doing a little bit of animation here, so watch out for that. You would find it particularly interesting. So let's copy this out and just the image. Then we'll come back and take the text. For the text, we'll just keep it outside the page and later would include it in the animation. I'm going to add the about section now. It's currently been uploaded. That will be the image. Then same thing, started to fill and picking the last or the second to the last section, which is the get in touch. And yes, grab that, come in here, same process, nothing special. So yes, we have that. So we can same thing. We just do them one after the other, so I won't have to do it again. Then go back and pick the footer. So pick footer and copy. We would have to add a little bit of. We might have to add a stack, wrapping the get in touch to the footer, or we add a gap in between the host web page. But let's make some adjustment before we decide on that. So bring this in, Then yeah, this looks pretty good. So change this, give this a bit, change this to 80, 80, and so we're going to join it together now. Select both of them, put them in a stack so that we can add a bit more gap. Make sure this is set to fit content. Then you can also use this particular purple line to drag it and create more space. So we can also add a top padding, padding at the top. So let's try 80. Then now we have a lot more space. We have a lot more space now. So we would reduce the height, line height here, just so that it can come together. And yeah, yeah, this looks better. So we'll just bring this in, and we have our portfolio website. I mean, we did this within the first probably 10 minutes of this class, which is really, really fast. So we can preview what we have, previewing right now. So let's see. So we have the name, we have hire. We're going to make this a link that would connect, send straight to email. So this could send to another page the where a possible client can find information about what the conditions are, or the kind of service, and so on and so forth. So now, yes, we're going to just look through it. So you notice there's no space here. Here's a bit jam packed. So we're going to make adjustment to that. That's part of the reason why you inspect your work. And sorry, going to go back and select this and make that adjustment. So to make that adjustment, all you need to do is to select the previous one, the one at the top. Just give it a padding of 80 for a start. Then you can also decide to add a little bit more space. But I think 80 just is just fine for now. You might come back there to make more changes, but for now, let's keep it there. So the next thing we want to do is to what happens when a user, so we're going to add a hover effect to this. We want something to happen when a user hovers over this, and let's do that. So create component, you come back and we change the name in a bit. So hover, and I'm going to drag an image now from here. Just going to select this image, going to take it from, use the plugin to bring it in. Just use the plugin to bring it in, and I'll paste it here. Paste it here, then all right. I'm going to paste it in here, but I'm going to change it from relative to absolute. Change it to absolute, so it's not going to have any particular impact on. Going to shift it a bit out, then let's see. So we can lock this. Okay, it's already locked, so we can drag this in, drag this in. So we want, on hover, we want this image to appear. Let's just make some changes. Let's adjust this, make it tilt a bit. Then I mean, we could add some perspective, but let's leave it like this. This is good. This is good. So we would inspect it and see what it looks like. So this is default. We don't want it to appear by default, so we're going to turn this off, right? So we can we can turn this off by turning off visibility. Then we come back here and turn on visibility, and yeah, the next thing, we can then come select the default, go back in, and we can add an effect. Basically, is smoothing the design to the animation so that it can appear more softly, and yeah, makes more sense. So let's preview it here. So you notice it's snapping in. It's not coming in gradually. So first thing we would need makes thing we need to correct is to, let's bring back the visibility to this, and we like that this should be really, really small, so it's going to grow out. That's the first thing we would correct. So just let's make this really, really small, and it should be here. Then we would rather use opacity. Then we'll come back here, select the image, turn on opacity, and drag it out. Just going to drag it out, drag it out. So this is a bit too much. So just going to bring it back in a bit, bring it back in again, and keep it right there. So we need to make sure that the positioning is somewhat in the same place. So we could do that by going back to select this. So, but it can't be exactly the same. So we can maintain, for example, the value between the extreme side. So we could do that, or we could just leave it the way it is and inspect what we have. So let's go back in and see. So on hover, this happens. Then we can make it a bit bigger. Let's make it a bit bigger. Select this, drag it out, turn it in. Let's make it bigger. Make it bigger. Then go back, preview. So this. So see. So we could also make it turn if we wanted to turn a bit. We can do that. So go back here and rotate it just a little bit off. Then see. All right. So we are done with the animation. Just going to reverse that particular effect. Okay. So let's go back. Then now we are going to make sure that this is the same thing for all the projects from 1 to 5. But for also that means we'll need to change the heading. So from project 1, we can be able to edit this and put whatever we want. Same thing with the tag beneath and also this particular text. So we can go back in and select the text, then select content, make it a variable, then just leave it there as title. Works just fine. Then for this one, you would also select content variable, then let's say paragraph or tag. Let's use tag. Then come in here, select this content, plain text, yeah, then enter on your keyboard and you can go back out. Now, when you select this particular component and you scroll down, you can see we now can change the title from project one to whatever it is. Same thing with the tag, same thing with the year. So now we've done that, we can then duplicate this. So let's duplicate it. We have about 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then let's delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this. So yeah, of course we can then change the text to whatever we want, but let's inspect this and make sure that it looks good. So yes, you hover over this and notice that the image is changing when you hover over each. Then I mean there's still space here, so we can make the image bigger. So let's go back into the component and make that change. Let's make it a bit bigger to occupy more space. And all right, so let's go back. So next thing we want to be also be able to change the image. We also want to be able to change the image. So we can select the image here, go to image, variable, image, and just press enter on your keyboard. So now we can go back out, and for each of this each of this project, we can now change the image to whatever particular image we want for each project, which is really good, really good. We would add more animation, but for now, let's check on this. So next is this. We need to make this scroll. We want this to scroll and provide. I want to see the remaining content, the remaining testimonials on the side. So we're going to use a particular component. It's called a ticker. So we're going to drag the ticker in. No, we're going to keep it outside for now. Then select this, bring it out as sample. In fact, what we're going to do is to duplicate this. So you're going to duplicate this. You can press Alt and drag on your keyboard. Just drag, select, drag. So I'm going to select all of them, wrap them in a stack, wrap them in a stack temporarily, then bring everything together. Just make sure everything comes together. Just set this to fit content, okay? Then adjust padding a bit. Then I'm going to take out the stack now. Now we have everything now organized. We can then select this. You can see we have an arrow there pointed to this, pointed to this, pointed to this, pointed to this, and pointed to this. Now we can then take this out completely. Just drag this in, keep it here, take out the whole of this, and allow this to spread from beginning to the end. And there you have it. We can remove this. You notice there's a dark area on both edge. So we can take that out. Can take that out. It's called a fade. So we can reduce the fade. You can remove it completely. You can maybe just leave it at a bit of fade, a little bit fade. Then we can also check what else do we have? So we want it to move. We can make it faster. So when you hover over it, it should slow down. Then when you don't hover over it, when you're not hovered over it, it should move. And okay, I mean this looks good. This is okay. Yeah, one more thing is the gap. Let's adjust the gap just a bit. All right, then let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like. So this, okay, we have this. It looks good. So there's a little bit of delay. It's a bit slow, so we can speed that up. But let's come back. So now you see that it moves. When you hover, it slows down. When you don't, it moves. So now what else? We can add a bit of animation here so that not animation but more of an hover effect so that when the user selects this, it behaves in a certain way. Then for this image, we're going to do a little bit of animation here as well. So let's go back and first let's make changes to this. And all right, so this looks good. This looks good. So we'll come back and make changes to the rest. But now we would be working on the about section, which is right here. So we're going to be making this behave in a certain way that I think you would really, really like. Then, but before then, let's change this. Select the button, right click, create component, BTN, come back later to make these changes. So hover. So for hover, we're just going to change the text to underline. So text transform to underline and make sure the animation between both transition between them is smooth. Just going to increase this to probably 4. Then that's about it. Then for this, just going to go back to component and transition, bring it down a bit. It's taking too much time to 5, and that should work just fine. We'll come back later to inspect it. All right, let's work on the animation now. So we want to move the image to the left, move the text to the right, and we want to make sure that the transition. So basically, when the user scrolls all the way to this point, all the animation will happen. So first thing we need to do is to wrap this text. So let's wrap this text, select both of them, wrap it in a stack, align to the left, to the right hand side rather, then the outer stack, then the outer stack rather will be aligned to the right, then the inner one would align it to the left. Then you can then drag this in, then make sure that the text, this, both of them, it's aligned to the left hand side. Then we can then select both of them, set the height to fit content so that we can see the whole thing. So set this also to fit content. You notice some part of the text is not visible, then we can bring this down to 32. Is a bit too much. Then let's bring this to 120. The 120 should be better. Then we can change this to Hola. Just Hola. So let's change this to HOLA. All right. Then we can then change. I think we should change the text. Change text to this sample here. We can copy all this and try just change it a bit. Then now we have this here. We can just make some adjustment to the text, make sure it looks good. And once that is done, all we need to do is to drag it. So because we want the text to occupy the other side, we need to make sure that this is already to the left, the right hand side. So the image will go to the left, text will go to the right. Then let's adjust this to 8 or probably 16, give more room. Then we can give the heading a color so that it can stand out a bit. Let's give it a bright color. Now we can select the image, select effect, go to scroll transform on layer view. So basically when the image gets into view, we want something to happen. So we want this to, so initially we want it to be big. So we want it to be really big. So let's say 1.1. Yes, no, probably 1.2. 1.2 will be better. Yeah, 1.2, we want it to be really, really big. Then, okay. Then probably we can reduce the opacity. So let's reduce the opacity to zero point 0.4. So zero point 0.4. Okay, so zero point 0.5 rather. So let's try zero point 0.5. Okay, so zero point 0.5 is what it will look like initially. Then it would move to this. So this is going to be, you're going to move it to the left hand side. So let's see, let's try minus 50. Okay, minus 50 takes it to the top. So we're going to just leave this as 0. Then we're going to make this minus 80. All right, so this is taken to the side. So let's try 400. 400 is a bit too much. So we can bring it down to minus 300 or 200. Then let's see, 60. 60 is a bit too much, so we can bring it down to 40 or just 20 maybe. We'll probably just leave it at 200. 200 is not going to be bad. Then we can then reduce the scale it down a bit to 0 0.8, 0 0.9 or 0 0.8 would work fine. Then at this point we would see that, okay, let's bring it down to 0 0.8. Okay, so we can then increase this to, let's say, 40 or 50. Let's give that 50. 50 should be fine. So I'm going trying to check. So basically this will move to this place and this text will come to this place. But the last thing we need to do for this to work is to set, so you move it from move it to sticky. So from sticky we can set it to 0. So if whatever value we have here is basically what it's going to have, and wait is going to stay to the top, and this will now scroll all the way to that point. So we can select this again, and let's add a bit something here. Let's check this. We can leave it this way. It's something soft. Then let's preview and see what we have. Okay, so scroll down. Then okay, so now you see it scrolls out. Then this comes in. But if you notice, it's running out of the screen really, really fast. So we can change that by bringing this down. So let's select this, go back here. So destination, we can bring this down a bit. So let's try 30, bring it down a bit. Then we can probably try negative value here. Let's see if that will work. Okay, so let's see what happens now. So basically, you would see yourself making some minor changes till you get exactly what you want. So it takes some time to figuring things out to find the exact values that would give you the exact effect. So I want this to scroll in a bit more before it stops. So I want this to scroll in a bit more. So let's go back and fix that. So yeah, can come back here and let's see. So we have this. So yes, we can go back to this scroll animation, then set this to rather this, increase the bring this to 50, speeding up the text here. So if we speed this up, so we're going to come into the effect, pick up effect, then speed this up a bit, just move it to like 0.100 and let's say 4%, then try it again. Let's go back and play. And so, yes, you see that it's coming up and it then moves away out of view together. Next, we're going to add an effect. So we're going to go to Framer Supply, Framer Supply, Supply. Okay, go to Framer Supply and go to grab a particular text animate to text motion. So we're going to pick this one up. There are others, but there are other platforms like this where you can grab components to use in your project, but we're going to just pick this, keeping it simple. So we're going to change this text to this particular one. So just going to paste it in and to paste it in. So with size you're working here, which is 164, we're going to change this to 164. So let's grab that 164. Then make sure it stretches all the way to the end. Make sure it's just a bunch of settings here we can work with. So for example, we can make sure it's aligned to the left hand side, then copy this and select the component and paste it right here. So paste, and see it stays there. Then next thing is the font, so Bayon, it changes to Bayon, and the color we make sure it is completely white, and voila. So now to test this out, just we need to come back here, and that's it. So we have it right here. So I mean, it's a simple animation and to add a little bit of flair to the website. Then we could also add, let's reduce the font size a bit, a little small, some part of the text is not showing. So okay, let's leave it here. Then set this to relative 100%, and there you have it. We have a really, really good website. So all we need to do next is to optimize. So yeah, we can add one more thing. So we could change this to, there is another component here that we could change this to. So let's pick this up. Going to change, grab this with plugin, copy and paste it right here. So paste it, move it to the top. Going to take this out. Going to change this to, so we could change, you just pick one, turn it to a component and add an effect. So let's see, so we can move this to this. So for the effect we'll be working on, we would be adding a straight line. So let's see what we have. Okay, so this is behaving differently from what it should be. So might have to check back with this. Shouldn't be behaving the way it behaves. So we're going to just take out this, detach this. So detach and copy again. All right, so copy again and paste it in, paste it in. And you notice the same thing is happening where everything is coming in as SVG, and we don't want that. So what we need really is just the arrow. So we can just grab the arrow here. So just grab the arrow from here, and we would create the rest ourselves in Framer. So probably that's some glitch with the software, but that won't stop us. So we just need to come here and we can create a text field. So just copy, let's use this one, duplicate this and bring it in. So let's drag this in away from this, and we can drag it to this place and add stock. Can add a stack to this. So just select add stack, then Ctrl V to paste the arrow in, then select the stack to set it to fill. Also set the space between to in between, then change this to LinkedIn.
Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's time if I want to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark. It's fine if I want to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's fine if I want to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark. It's hard to find once you know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's hard to find once you know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun